But we're going to be focusing on the site content area. In particular, I've got my screen shared so you can see me here. But in particular, we're going to be looking at just a couple of things in site content, focusing mainly on the Pages tab today. Looking on the left-hand side about different sort of sections within the Pages tab, and also basically how to create a page, reordering a page, creating a menu, and just the basic things that you'd expect to have to go through when sort of initially setting up a brand new page. Or let's say, you've just had a new website designed by us and you're looking to sort of change around sort of the order of the pages or the menus, adding them, removing them, just modifying existing menus. Okay. So I've got site content up already on my page, as you can see. And on the left-hand side, I'm just using one of our demo sort of test websites. So a lot of the pages, obviously there won't be that many. Obviously a lot of you guys, when you guys go to site content, you'll see a lot more pages than we have. So just to start off with, in terms of when we first go into admin site content, some of you may already be aware of this, but for those that aren't, on the left-hand side, you've got all of the pages that you've ever created in site content. That includes pages which are live, pages which have just been created, so the draft pages, which I shall explain more in a moment, and also deleted pages. It's one of the only areas where it doesn't matter what you delete, there is always a copy of it. So by me pressing hide or show deleted pages, you can see all of these pages on the left which are red and have a strike through. And that just simply means that they're pages which are still on the system. You can bring them back. For instance, if I click on David Test, I could restore it, and then we can hide them again. So the different sections that you have within site content on the Pages tab on the left-hand side, you've got visitor top-level pages, which most of you will probably have seen when you initially go and look at the website from a visitor's perspective. These are the pages you have in the navigation bar. Most of you will have that on the top of the website. I know a couple of you have it on the left-hand side. And these are the pages and menus that you would be able to see. Visitor not on menu pages, essentially almost the same thing, so they can still be viewed by a member of the public. They don't need to be logged in order to see those pages, but they do need some form of link in order to get to the page. So for instance, as a member of the public, if I wanted to go onto my event form page, I would need some sort of link to be able to know, one, that it exists, and two, what the page is called and where I can get to it. You've then got the member pages. Member top level, slightly different from the way the visitors works. Obviously, most of you will probably have seen, if I have a look at the members view here, we can see that a lot of these pages are automatically generated by ourselves. That is to contain, the news items, your competitions, your My Golf area, and as administrators, you'll probably also see planner and admin. Obviously, members won't get those two options. Some of you may or may not have a couple of other things. So some of you, instead of having the diary page under news, you may have a separate diary link. There is also the ability to have one auxiliary menu, which we can set up through Intelligent Golf Support to have one other page on this area. But the member top level pages will all be in the information. Now, this is probably the only area really you can add those pages to, apart from the one auxiliary option that we allow people to have. And this is to keep things consistent for members. So this is the same for all of you, probably on this call. You'll all have the same sort of setup. Now, it is entirely possible that a page that is a member top level page, so i.e. in the information menu, may also be available to the public. So that is the one thing to look out for. If you ever go to member top level pages, you can't find the page that you're looking to modify or remove or do whatever you need to do with it, have a look in the visitor section because you'll find it in there as well. You've also got the member not on menu pages, which work very similarly to the visitor not on menu pages in terms of that you can't actually get to them directly. You need some sort of link. So for example, if I had a page within member not on menu pages, I might go into, let's say, the lesson booking page here and put a link to those pages so people can find them. But as with the member to upload pages, you have to be logged in. So if anyone goes to view one of these pages, let's say, for example, we send out an email, and within that email, it's got a link to a member page. It will simply ask them to log in if they haven't yet done so in order to view the page. The other two sections that you will have seen are special pages. Special pages, you will never actually put a page in there yourselves. That will happen automatically based on the name of the page. The most common one, if anyone has ever used a marquee, or sometimes call it a ticker tape, which is simply text scrolling from the right hand side to the left repeatedly on a loop, and that is one of the special pages. The other one that most of you, if not all of you here, will have on your website is a privacy policy. If you create a page called privacy, it automatically goes into special pages. The reason we do that is these special pages, based upon the name of the page, perform certain functions. Again, like the privacy policy, the ticker tape or marquee, whichever you want to call it, and also a login page. If any of you have a separate login page from the one that we have automatically. The other section right at the bottom is your drafts pages. So anytime that you guys add a new page, this is where they're going to go. A draft page simply allows me to click on it. I can edit the content like that. There we go. But one thing I can't do is actually preview the page. So if I select the diary test page, it will just say, sorry, it's an invalid page. So for actually testing the pages, you do need to publish them. And I'll go through that again in just a second. So those are the 4 areas that I just wanted to show everyone straight away, just to make sure that everyone is aware of what sections are available and also what each section actually does. Now, in terms of adding a new page, we have this button here on the top left hand side. And if I select this, I can choose a new page name. So I could call this one the test. You're then asked to pick a page layout. Now the page layouts will differ depending on your site. Every club has a different one, which is designed by us to basically fit the rest of the pages. So each page should have a very, very similar design to keep things sort of consistent across all of the website. Now we've got 3 here that we've just created for our test page. We've got a default content page, one with the sidebar on the right, and a page with a sidebar on the left. Most of you guys will probably see page layouts like homepage, like course overview, or whole guide, or something like that. Those are specifically for the homepage and the whole guide, so I don't recommend picking those as a page layout. That's something that we've done to create those pages. You guys will probably look for ones that say maybe members page or inner page or something like that. But look at the description, and most of them will have something where they'll say, you know, slideshow at the top, or you know, inner page, no slideshow, which obviously doesn't have a slideshow at the top. Or you may have ones which say there's a sidebar on the right or the left hand side. For this demonstration, I'm just going to pick the default content page and click add new. Now there is one thing to note, we can add more templates. So if you find that there's a page that you want that there maybe isn't a template for, or you're unsure, give us a call or a ticket or an email, let us know, and we can either adjust one of the existing templates or create a brand new one. Now when I add this page, it goes into our draft area, because I've just created it. And again, as I did with the diary test page, I could choose to modify the page and edit the content. And when I'm done, I can choose to then publish the page. Now, I'm not going to get too much into actually editing the pages today. I can do that in a further demonstration. There are also help and support documents on editing the pages, in particular adding links, adding pictures. So we'll probably cover that in a later demonstration. At the moment, I just want to look at today managing pages, creating them, reordering them, and creating menus. Now, a couple of other things that you'll also get to do when you create a brand new page, or indeed you want to edit an existing page. You have the option to click details. Now, details allow you to basically further modify the page you've already created. So we can change the labeling menu. so I could change it just from saying Lee Test to just Lee. I can change the SEO title, description, and keywords. Now, SEO stands for search engine optimization. And what that essentially does is when you search for something on a search engine like Google, Bing, Yandex, Yahoo, whatever it might be, this is some of the stuff that they will look at. There are other sort of factors that different search engines will take into account, but these are three of the main things. Now, each of you will have a default SEO title, description, and keyword embedded on the website when you go live, but you can further customize these. Now, no, you only really need to worry about this if it's going to be a visitor page. If it's a members page, you're not going to be able to access it from Google anyway, so don't worry about having a custom SEO title, description, or keyword. Essentially, what you would put in here, though, an SEO title is essentially just a couple of words about what the page is or what it's for. So it might be tea time booking, or green fees, or weddings, or parties, events, something like that. The description is basically just an extension of the title. So one short sentence just describing what the page is for and what's on it. The keywords are normally no more than 9 or 10 specific keywords separated by a comma. So it might be golf booking, comma. If I was looking at, let's say, where I'm based, it might be golf booking, comma, Warwickshire, comma, weddings, comma, events. So, whatever the page is for, these are the type of keywords you want to put in. And essentially put yourself in the mind of a visitor going onto Google, typing some words in. What sort of words are they going to be typing, and what sort of response do you want to get? Again, there are other factors that different things that will actually happen as well. Different search engines work in slightly different ways, and if you are sort of further interested in that, there are a lot of companies out there who do specialize in marketing, but by and large, filling out the SEO details will suffice 9 times out of 10. The other three options that you have are: is the page viewable to the public? Either yes or no. Can you view it as a visitor, or do you have to log in as a member? For this demonstration, I'll keep mine as yes. Do I want to show it on the information menu? Again, as we looked, so that's a member top level page. For this demonstration, I'm again going to set that to yes. The last option, restrict editing of this page. What that essentially means is you've got different access levels within your club. Now, if you're a webmaster, you have full access through every page to do whatever you like on the website. Now, if this was set to yes, you could still modify the page. However, if this is set to no, then it means you must be a webmaster. If it's set to yes, I should say, you must be a webmaster to modify the page. If you're simply a site content editor and you don't have a higher access level, then you'll be able to access site content, but you won't be able to modify this particular page. So if you have a lot of people at the club who may be modifying pages, and there was a couple of pages which are, let's say, quite important or quite sensitive, and you don't want to be modified by anyone else apart from a webmaster, set that to yes. In this case, I'm a webmaster, or I'm actually a super user, so it wouldn't make much difference. So I can click yes, and I'd still be able to edit it. For this purpose, I'm just going to keep mine set as no. So if I click update, you'll see that it's now viewable to the public, shown in the information menu, and I've changed the labeling menu to just say Lee. Now, notice that the link to the page shown here and here still say Lee_test. The underscore is just a replacement for the space. Now, if I were to refresh site content, actually it won't let me, because let's publish the page first. Let's go to here. We normally do have, there we go, the option to rename. Now, rename is slightly different in the fact that it will actually change the link to the page. So although the menu will say Lee, the link is actually Lee Test. Normally it's best wherever possible to keep those the same. So I'm actually going to rename it and just call it Lee. Now, the other options you have, as well as details and rename, you've obviously got the delete option. As explained earlier, even though it's deleted, you can always restore a page back. You can clone a page. So rather than start something from scratch, click on clone, and it will basically ask you what you want the page name to be, and it will copy the formatting, the content, everything on that page will then be cloned over to the new page. Now, another thing you can do is click on history. Now, what history will do, if I make any saves to this page, so let's say, for instance, I change it to, and I'm just going to write hello world and click save and exit. If I now click on history, you'll see there's another version. So this is the latest version, and this is the original version. You can go back as far as you absolutely want, as far as when the page was created, essentially. I can click on this, I can revert to previous version, it will come up with a confirmation, and I can click restore. And now if I go to edit the content, you'll see where I wrote hello world, it's now back to what it was. So if any time you, let's say, remove information or update it, and you realize, oh, actually, no, I need to get back to a previous version, absolutely fine, you can do by clicking on the history. If you go back too far, I can click on history again and say, well, actually, no, this is the one I reverted to, this is the original, but this is my past save. Now, if I revert back to this one and then click on edit content again, it then says hello world. So I've gone back to what it was before. So again, if you delete a page, you can bring it back. If you change the content of something, you can bring it back. It's absolutely fine. There's no way that really you can lose information completely from this area. Now, because I've also published the page, which I did to rename it, what I'll also be able to do is if I refresh the members homepage, I can now go on information, and then I can see my name there. So I can go onto the page and it says hello world. Also on your pages, you'll have much more of a design and some content on here. This is purely our demonstration website, so it doesn't have much of a design. So you'll see yours will look a lot better than just my hello world. Now, another thing that I'm going to do is look at menus. So menus come into play really for top level pages or member top level pages. If they're not on menu, so visitor not on menu or member not on menu, it doesn't quite matter because those have manual links to them. They don't really rely on being in any particular order. Let me just have a look at one of our other demonstration pages. Won't be a second, I do apologize. Essentially, what I'm going to show you is the reordering of some pages and actually create a submenu. So a submenu being when you're logged in, so you've got the My Golf option, you can have a drop-down menu, and what that will allow you to do is then place a page, what I call a container, and inside that container, you'll have a number of other pages that you can then place inside that. So it's good for sort of grouping pages together. So you'll see on one of our other demonstration websites that we have got visitor top level pages enabled. So we've already got plenty of pages actually that I can use for my test. So let's actually look at what this page looks like when we're logged out. So at the moment we've got home and opened, golf course, visitors, join Radda. I think we've just obviously covered this from Radda Golf Club. We've got the club, contact, dining events, PGA Professional, and so forth, so on. Now, let's say, for instance, I want to reorder, say, the first lot of menus. So I go back into site content. I'll log in under my administrator profile. Now, when I go into site content, I can then say, right, well, I want join Radda to be above, and actually I want contact to be after home. Now you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm simply left clicking on the left hand side of the page name over these three horizontal lines, clicking and holding the left mouse button and just moving the page up and down. You'll see that blue box with a dotted border which sort of says where the page is going to go, and if I click save menu order, it's then going to reorder the pages for me. It does say on the top left or top right hand side, I should say, a confirmation so you know it's been done successfully. Now, the other thing I mentioned, drop down menus. So you'll see these all have plus icons. Any page with a plus icon will be a drop down menu. And if I click on the plus, you'll find the pages within them. Now, if I want to reorder those, I can do as well. If I want to take a page out, I can simply move it around, and you'll see there we go. So I've took the Find Us page out of contact. I can move it back in just by moving it over to the right hand side. And once you've got that dotted box appearing exactly where you want, you know that it's going to work, and then you can click Save Menu Order. Now, if you want a brand new page or a brand new menu, then you can also do that as well. So let's refresh site content. Now, let's say, for instance, I want to put the news page as a drop-down menu, for example, and I want to put the diary inside the news page. I can simply move the page on top of news and over to the right-hand side, and you'll see you get that indentation on the page. So again, over to the right-hand side, and then let go of the mouse. So if I do that, so we go, indentation, I let go. Now when I let go, I get a minus symbol, which I can now open and close. So now we have a drop-down menu for the news. So if I now save the menu order, again, we get that confirmation at the top right-hand side. And now when I log out, the news menu is still there. All the others have been reordered, but the diary page has now disappeared. So if I click news, I get diary. Now, one thing to note is I can no longer access the news page itself. I can only access the pages within a menu. So if you are creating a new drop-down menu, create a page, what I like to call a container. That page doesn't have to have any content on. Just give it a name, something like, news or visitors or golf course or something like that. And then place the pages with the information and with the site content inside of that menu. And then once you've done it, always make sure that you click the Save Menu Order button. If you don't click that, it won't save the changes. The only other thing to note is that these changes, you should be able to see pretty much instantaneously. The moment you click Save, when you log out, you should see them. Now, if you don't, sometimes that can be your web browser. Whenever you view a web page, you have something called cache. And what the cache will do is it'll actually save a copy of that web page and all the other bits and pieces, so that the next time you load it, it can try and load it a lot quicker. Now, the only downside is sometimes it can take a couple of minutes for it to update that cache and basically tell your web browser, oh, you need a new version. If you ever get that, sometimes you can come back into here, just click Save Menu Order again, and then it will update. Again, you should never really need to do that, but sometimes if you find that it's taking a couple of minutes to update, try that and then it should do it instantaneously. But 99.9% of the time, you won't need to do that. It's just if your browser hasn't yet updated. But that's it really for sort of creating a page, having a look at the basic setup of the pages and how they're all organized. All the stuff that we have gone through, obviously I am recording, so it will be updated in a news article for you to view this video again. And everything, as usual, is under admin help and support. So all the stuff that I have gone through is again within this site content area here. So do please, have a look. So we've got here, say, how does the menu work? How do you change a menu? Deleting, adding pages and all that sort of stuff. But again, don't hesitate to, give us a call, drop us a ticket or an email if there is anything else. Apart from that, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this demonstration, and no doubt we'll be back shortly with even more.